Well, good morning and welcome to the party. You are listening to PrepperCon Radio. I'm your regular traditional host, Scott Stallings, and I've got the prepared guy, Shane, over here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing quite well, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Especially good to see you again, Scott, I must say.
You know, this is the highlight of my week.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I would say it's also the highlight, but it's also a little stressful for me because, this is actually, I think, our 32nd show.
Whew.
Did you realize that, Scott? We've done 32 shows.
I'm waiting for the big year mark.
We won't even, let's not even talk about it.
When we hit that, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But, obviously, Scott and I had never done anything like this before. Well, Scott had been on the radio a lot for the previous PrepperCon.
36 times.
36 times.
36 radio interviews for the first PrepperCon. Second PrepperCon,
See, that's
3 radio interviews. Well, you guys are listening to PrepperCon. Yeah. We love you. Thank you for listening. We are so grateful for our sponsor, Survival Medical. They keep the lights on. They keep us going. They are the only first aid kits designed for long-term storage. They're sponsoring this hour. They're going to be in Sam's Club soon, so watch for them. But hurry and get on survival-medical.com. Their everyday prices are the dealer prices. Like, it's just ridiculously affordable. And it's the only first aid solution that's got a 20-year shelf life.
Yeah, and let me tell you about my first aid experience that way, since we're talking on the topic. I actually went down yesterday to my stash, and had to pull out some medical supplies for a young man who had hurt himself. I'll just say that. And I could already tell that my supplies sitting in my basement were starting to, look old. I mean, they've been down there a couple of years. Obviously the cooler temperature definitely helps for storage. But I will be stocking up on more of these supplies. This is one of the coolest ideas I've heard in a long time.
In fact, since we're on the topic still, this is totally not planned.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wheeling away from the mic if you can hear me.
What you doing there, Scott?
All right.
Oh, okay. You got one with you.
So, yesterday I was up in Idaho. My wife and I, every once in a while, we get to take a little bit of a trip. This was for work, but this is what I took with me. It's called the Voyager Kit. It's by Survival Medical. The things that are in here, I mean, there's a quantity count. It has everything listed on the outside. It's vacuum sealed.
Yeah, so you can hear what he's talking about. It's a Mylar bag, just like you would see your food storage.
The good quality food storage is going to be in this kind of bag.
It's like a 0.5 mil Mylar bag.
Yeah, it's substantial. I mean, he's got waterproof tape, elastic bandages, gauze rolls, different sizes, non-adherents, woven sponges, cohesive bandages, medical shears, alcohol pads. That's the thing. Okay, alcohol pads. And my regular first aid kits,
yep. They're always
every time I go to use them, they're dry.
Especially if you keep it in your car.
Yeah. Have it 3 months. Hey, they're dry. They're in my car.
Yeah.
This, because it's vacuum sealed, you're good. Okay, alcohol pads. That's what we just talked about. BZK towelettes. 3.5 grams of packets of burn gel, and there's 3 of those. Mylar emergency blanket, large adhesive bandages, large butterfly closures. Hey, everyone gets cuts. What if you get a big cut? Moleskin, iodine pads. I mean, and it goes on tourniquet.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good kit.
Tweezers, gloves.
What does that one cost?
I want to say this is like $80, $60. But it's vacuum sealed. It's going to last me 20 years. It's probably cheaper than that. I don't know. I'm just going to say I don't know.
Okay, and as you know, just like with your food storage, you essentially put it in your basement and you forget about it, right? Which is kind of a comforting thing. You buy, you have it there. You don't have to worry about it at all. The same thing goes for medical as well. These supplies I have sitting in my basement, they're not in. I just have them on a shelf.
Yeah,
and they're definitely aging.
And I just toss this under my seat in my car.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Done. Yeah, actually, I keep it in my backpack.
I need to get me some more of this.
But they're small. I mean, they're not huge. He's also got big buckets. It's got everything you need, surgical kits and everything. He's got the birthing buckets. I mean,
you don't have to feel bad about not using your stuff.
And I'm actually transitioning all my stuff over to using his kits because then I just know, hey, it's good. Open it up, then I got a 2-year life out of it. Great. I'd rather have that security than spend triple the money and have it expire in 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
So, okay, but
absolutely.
We digress a little bit. We're talking today. We've got a fun topic. Oh my gosh! Hopefully every week's a fun topic for you guys. You're listening to KTalk AM 630. Well, this is the funnest station, the most informative station. This is two-way talk, so we want you guys to join in with us.
What we need you guys to do for us is spread the word. I mean, KTalk is very unique. There's nobody else out there like us, especially here in Utah, and we need to spread the word. More people need to listen to this station.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping here in the near future to have some, and I'm throwing this out as a hint to management, some KTalk bumper stickers.
Yeah, there you go.
Throw on our rigs, and so people can say, "Oh, what's KTalk?" And to spread the word, because things we talk about here, obviously not just on our show, but on all of the shows, that it's extremely important. People have got to wake up. We've got to wake up more and more people, and that's what PrepperCon's about. We want to wake people up. We're not here. I mean, we'd love to be able to eventually provide for ourselves with PrepperCon. Not the case right now, but
unfortunately.
So we just are trying to do what we can on what we're given. So.
Absolutely. So get involved. Download the app. Tell your friends to download the app. Listen, tune in on the radio.
Share it on Facebook. Actually, you can go to the KTalk Media on Facebook, like that page, because actually, I think in the next month or so, I think Eric informed me that we're kicking off the new website.
Woohoo!
And I don't know that that's official. We'll let Eric and whomever, Kristen, maybe make that announcement. But that is coming. A whole new website. It's going to be a whole new platform. It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be beautiful. And you'll be able to get our one-of-a-kind PrepperCon survival cards on the website. That's going to be part of their store.
Very
so cool. If you want one of those, they're pretty dang sweet. It's a credit card that turns into 22 different tools. And PrepperCon, we've only got a few people that are allowed to sell those. KTalk's one of them.
Cool. And from
because we love KTalk.
What I understand is, or let me say it this way. There have been individuals who leave this in their wallet when they go through security at the airport, and then still have the card with them. So I'll just say that.
I've got one guy, Corey, who's taken it through a couple different security checkpoints, airplanes. Or no, not Corey. That would be George.
Yeah, George.
Corey's taken it through. I think he took it through a metal detector at a basketball game. Took his wallet out, handed it to the guy. Walked right through, boom, done, safe.
I'll be going to Seattle here in the next couple days, and I think I'm going to give that a try.
There you go. So they're fun tools. They're great tools. Today we're going to talk about home defense for now and after the POW.
No, that's absolutely after the POW. Huh?
After the POW, after the big scary crap hits the fan, right? Everyone wonders, okay, what can I do to better secure my home, better protect my home? And I don't want to just talk about, looters and bad guys, right? I also want to talk about, okay, what if there is an EMP? What can I do now to protect my home? But
also, what I'd like to talk about, Scott, is just how to secure your home as it is right now. Because we know times are getting more difficult. Even though the government says our employment rate is low, it's not. So people are out there, and we're going to see this more increasingly, that we're going to see more burglaries, we're going to see more break-ins, we're going to see people wanting to get into your house.
Yep.
To get to your food, your valuables, whatever it might be. So there's a lot of things that I've done to my own house to help harden it, I guess is the right word, to fortify my house to keep people out. Sure, I mean, and I'm not really going to talk about security alarms. I think that's a good topic. We can talk about that. But ways to discourage people from looking at your house as an easy target, but also ways to keep them out if they decide to try. Let's try and kick your door down.
Exactly.
Make it hard for them to get in, and that way you're not going to be forced to shoot anybody who comes into your house, because you want to avoid that at all costs.
Absolutely. So, and I love that you bring it up that way. I mean, we need to just be simply better aware of what's going on, and better at keeping our homes secure. I was just in a small town in Idaho. The beautiful thing about it is you don't really have to keep your doors locked up there, because everybody. I mean, there's less than 200 people in that city.
That used to be the case down here.
Down here, you kind of have to be a little bit more cautious. Lock your doors. Things you can do, and we're going to throw up a couple videos on our YouTube, or a couple of YouTube videos on our Facebook page to kind of help roll out the discussion. So join in. One of the most simplest ways for a burglar to access your home is actually through your garage door. It takes less than 6 seconds for them to get into your house or to bypass that garage door.
Now, is that a specific type of garage door you're talking about in particular, or is it pretty much any garage door?
Any
garage door.
Okay,
now are you referring to taking like a coat hanger and pulling the release on that? Okay.
Coat hanger, that's the easiest way.
Now, it's obviously much easier if you have a window at the top of your door where they can see that release.
Don't need it.
But a skilled one, a skilled burglar will be able to knows how to do that easily with a coat hanger or other wire or so forth to actually pull the release. If you don't know what we're talking about, if you look at your garage door, there's a red handle hanging down from your garage door, and that releases it from the track, releases it from being able to be lifted up by the garage door opener itself. By simply releasing that, one can lift the garage door. So if you somehow get locked out of your house or it powers out, you pull that, and you can lift your garage door manually. So I think that's what Scott's referring to there.
Yeah, and it takes just a few seconds. We're publishing this on our Facebook page as we speak. There's a simple way to secure your house from that, and that's by internally. It's okay to pull that chain and be fine. Mm-hmm. You don't want anyone outside pulling that chain and getting into your house. There's two ways that they actually recommend to secure that. Mm-hmm. One is simple with zip ties. Yep. You got a little bolt carrier across the top. That bolt carrier, you can actually zip tie your release lock to that. Or you can cut up a coat hanger or use wire, thick gauge wire, and tie it to that.
And I like the zip tie because if you need to release it yourself, you can actually pull down hard on that handle and break the zip tie from inside. But you can't, if someone tries to use a wire or something to release that, it's perfectly safe. But there are also specific little devices you can actually attach around that. You can buy aftermarket, I guess call it aftermarket, online to help to solve that problem.
Yeah, and they start at like $15.99.
Yeah,
they're relatively cheap.
Here's something else that I do to my garage door.
Yes.
When I'm away for any length of time, and not all garage doors have this on there, but you can go down to your Home Depot or Lowe's and actually buy a garage door locking kit. It bolts right onto your garage door, and then it's a lever that slides into the track. So when you're away, if you're concerned about that, get one or two of those, put them on each side of your door, and lock that bolt into your track so it can't be lifted.
That's so smart. My dad used to do that when we were growing up. Every time we'd go on vacation, he'd do that.
All the old style ones, yeah, absolutely.
And I moved my house in Murray. We didn't have access to the house through the garage, so I really didn't care as much. But, it was still weird. It was still, I'd always check. But I had a 1950s house with a probably 70s garage door track. Mm-hmm. I could lock it if I wanted to. The only problem is I'd lock myself in. Yep.
You lock yourself in?
I could lock myself in because I didn't have any other exits out of the garage. It was weird. I'm like, how do I get out of the garage if I lock the garage from the inside? So after trying it the first time, I was like, nothing's in here worth stealing, so who cares?
Right.
But if it were in my house, absolutely, I would lock those padlocks on there through that lock point.
And obviously, in your home, you should have a safe or some other means of hiding your valuables. And we can talk more about that after this next break, as we're coming up on another break here real quick. But I guess my point is that, as Scott's saying, we don't have anything valuable in the house, but that's not really the point. The point is keep people out of your house, and then when you are there, or your kids are there, they're the most valuable things you can have in your house at the time. So keeping anyone out of your house, even if you happen to be there, or especially really if you happen to be there. And I think a lot of people come to my house, and I have all these locks on my front door, and it's kind of like a vault door. And I'll get into that and tell you a little bit more about it. But exactly, it's kind of like the shows. You have all these locks.
You got 30 locks on your front door. Why?
And sometimes my kids' friends try and leave. They say, I don't know how to unlock this door. But I lock it when my kids are there, especially.
So we're going to be back in just a few seconds. We're going to talk, a few minutes, talking more about home security, what you can do to better protect your house now and in the future. This hour is brought to you by Survival Medical, survival-medical.com. These guys are changing the game for first aid because now it's long-term. You can actually hold on to this stuff for up to 20 years. Stay tuned. You're listening to KTalk Radio, the voice of the Rockies. Hey, welcome back to Preppercon Radio on KTalk, AM 630. Join the conversation at 801-254-5855. This hour is brought to you by our sponsor, Survival Medical, the only first aid kit designed for long-term storage. Find out more at survival-medical.com. That's the hyphen, survival-medical or -medical.com.
Yeah, feel free to call us and tell us what you're doing around your house to keep it safe, keep it locked up. To keep it from looking like an easy target, make it look like a hard target for when, and that's really what we're talking about today is okay, if someone is driving around your neighborhood, kind of casing your neighborhood, are they looking at your house as a potential target?
And what are things that are going to set them off to realize, hey, wow, this is a good target?
Right.
You know, one of the biggest things you can do to make your house look less target rich, so to speak, is to eliminate things that are out in the yard. Like if they see nice bicycles lying out or the garage door is always open,
Right.
then they're like, oh, wow, I can see exactly what this house has to offer. Because the number one burglary is garage burglaries.
Just walk into the garage.
They'll just walk into the open garage, grab stuff, and walk out. So keep your garage closed. Keep your front door closed. Keep the bikes off the lawn.
Teach your kids to keep the garage door closed.
Yeah.
Hint, hint, kids, if you happen to be listening.
Which I doubt. But mom and dad, keep pushing that message. There's those great apps on nowadays for the new garage doors. You can close, make sure it's closed from anywhere. Set yourself up with one of those. You know, I'm sure that's great.
Really expensive either. So.
Yeah.
And then they also have the garage door openers which rotate codes, because there are people out there with little devices that can capture the code from your garage door. So when you drive up and you push your remote button, they can capture that code, and then the next time you leave,
they can just click it open and go. So keep an eye out. Do you see anyone that's suspicious as you're pulling up to your house? Is there a new car, a van? You know, the dark, creepy van that you see in the movies. Is it parked across the street, or is there a little dim light on, and is there some spooky face in there watching you as you pull in? If so, walk through the front door.
And I would hope that most of you who have been in your neighborhoods for a certain amount of time know all the cars that are parked on the street, or if they're a little suspicious about new cars that are parked nearby. So those are just some pretty simple, basic things that I would hope that everybody would realize. But here's something else to realize is if you park your car outside of your garage, how easy is it for them to break the window of your vehicle, get your garage door open, or open your garage door, and then waltz right into your house? So do you keep your door to your garage, your inside door, your man door, do you keep that locked at night? In addition to, especially if you keep your cars outside of your garage.
Absolutely. You know, I think one of the things that's often overlooked too, we're talking about doors and windows and garage doors. One of the things that I love, my dad taught me this a long time ago, is reinforce your door with.
Absolutely.
So if you look at your house, you walk in your front door key lock, the striker plate has what, about a 3/4 inch screw, two 3/4 inch screws, and it goes into the door frame, but it doesn't go into the house framing. Okay.
Exactly. And you know, this is something I did. I guess
you did a video for this for a little while, didn't you?
I did a video about it. But essentially, and I don't mean to take your time away from there, Scott.
Yeah, just roll me over.
I'm very good at that, especially when it comes to something that I'm passionate about. And this is something I've tried to raise some awareness about, because most people really have no idea about that their front door, as installed by their general contractor when their house was built, was most likely, unless you live in kind of a high-end house, a little bit more expensive custom house, you probably only have these, like Scott was saying, these 3/4 inch screws that come from the factory essentially, and only tie into the door frame, which then that door frame is of course tied into the 2x4s around your door. But that little plate is only tied into that door frame, that 3/4 inch piece of wood.
So you've got really an inch of wood keeping people out of your house. Mm-hmm. And that can be kicked through so easily.
Very easily.
One horse kick, one reverse kick, you know, and I don't mean a horse, but if you just stand backwards and kick your foot backwards, it'll go right through and it'll pop that door open.
So all of you, when you go home, if you're at home, walk to your front door and take a look at the striker plates on both the deadbolt as well as the doorknob.
Yep.
Now, the deadbolt is obviously more critical because that's where the strength is. And so what Scott's saying is okay, if you only have these 3/4 inch plates, which are basically only holding that striker plate in place, they're not reinforcing it, you need to replace those with like a 3-inch grabber or other lag type screw, or even upgrade that plate to a heavy duty plate that has provisions for larger screws.
Yep.
That tie directly into your 2x4, so you can't, like Scott's saying, turn around and donkey kick this door, put your back to the door and kick this door.
Yep.
Or even walk to the door and kick it as you're walking toward it.
Exactly. You do that, that's going to increase your strength. There's actually a video I love online, fire department. They show you the difference, what happens. And there's this this poor guy. He's sitting there donkey kicking the door over and over and over and over, and he's getting a little bit of give. And what finally gave out was the hinge side of the door.
The hinge side, yep.
Same screws.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it took forever. It took him about 30 kicks to get through that door.
So was he kicking the hinge side, or was he kicking
He was kicking the main side, but eventually he's like, let me try the hinge side. Mm-hmm. Okay, now swap out those screws as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you've got a really reinforced doorway.
Let me read a statistic here really quick about home burglaries.
Yeah.
Most home burglaries, they're access through the front door. That's 34%. So that's the really majority of all the different ways that a home could be accessed by a burglar. And most of the time, the door's just unlocked. They walk right in. The second is, like Scott's saying, kick the door because it's not properly reinforced. It maybe even doesn't even have a deadbolt on there.
Yep.
And then they just walk right in. I mean, it's really can be that simple, that easy.
So 34% go through the front door.
34% go through the front door.
The rest of them are going to go through the side door or back door.
Back door
or windows.
Or windows, correct, on the main floor.
On the main floor.
So let's talk a little bit more about that front door, because I've got some more advice on this front door of how to beef up your front door, because that's, in my opinion, the most important aspect of security of your home is your front door. So like Scott's saying, is you go through and you replace the screws both on your hinge side as well as on the deadbolt side.
Yep.
But also have a quality deadbolt, quality handle set. That's going to make a big difference. But also a huge difference is the door itself. Excuse me. Now, most of these starter homes come with, it's a steel door, but it's a wood core. And so it's only sheeted in steel on the outside and the inside, so it looks like steel. Whereas, and that's better than a hollow door, like your interior doors are just hollow wood doors. And you kick that, your foot goes through the door instead of actually kicking the door down. It goes through the door. But a solid door will actually is obviously much tougher, much stronger. So, say for example, if you have a custom wood door, like on a higher end house, they have solid wood doors. That's actually a much better option than a lot of these steel doors. Although you can get these steel doors with an actual steel, the core is steel.
Yep.
But it's a solid door rather than a hollow door. So look closely at your door. Is it just sheeted with steel on inside and outside? And then the frame itself, the structure of it is actually wood? Because that is still okay, but you can do much better with actually steel core door or a solid steel door or a solid wood door. So look at your hinges, see if they're actually threaded into, use a threaded or a machine screw, or if they actually have a wood screw. If they have a machine screw, you're actually very well off. If it's a wood screw, most likely you have more of a hollow door. So consider upgrading your door itself. And then also, in addition to that, I add additional locks, like Scott we were talking at the beginning. You know, you see these movies where they have a bunch of things on the inside that you latch in.
Lock 20 locks once you get in the house.
Yeah, it takes 30 seconds to open the door.
So we got a caller on the line. Let's bring him online.
Go for it.
We got Zane here. Zane, you there?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, good. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, I do commercial doors and a lot of security. I just wanted to shed some light on the illusion that's called security.
Awesome.
I think the whole goal, security truly is an illusion. Once you enforce one area, it just really identifies a weak one, a different point of entry. I think that if you had the mindset of having them create a lot of noise to give you time to defend yourself, it's probably a good way to go too. So I think reinforcing the latches and areas with reinforced strike plates and longer screws is a good thing. But also having an outswinging security door, so they're literally kicking against the jam. Most doors are in-swinging in residential, and you have a 1-inch point of security. So outswinging doors, kicking against the door is definitely a stronger option. So if you put security doors, even screen doors, it's going to block them to get another barrier that they're going to have to noise.
That's an awesome point.
Right, yeah.
I hadn't even really thought of that, but I do recognize they're everywhere, especially in older communities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's literally, like you guys said, an in-swinging door has 1 point, a 1-inch area of reinforcement. So you literally have to reinforce the whole jam to strengthen that 1 inch because, if you take a 100-pound leg, you're swinging it at 5 miles an hour, that's 500 pounds of force on a little area.
Now, here's something that I've done to my front door in addition to the deadbolt. I have what's called a door blocker lock. I have it both down low as well as up high, which does not attach to the door at all, but it actually flips over kind of like on a safe, where you have these large steel rods sticking
pins
out.
and rods.
So
Okay.
it actually flips over and blocks the door, so that if someone were to kick it, they're kicking against. They're not going to strip any screws out of the door. So like a lot of these locks you see will actually screw to the door itself. This screws to the 2x4s in your of your home.
So the framing.
To the framing of the home, exactly, right on the door. So like you're saying, you've got a 1-inch point if it's a deadbolt. By adding these, I have 2 of these, 2 door blocker locks, one low and one high. You're reinforcing a much more square inches, much more distance along the edge of that door, like you're saying, instead of just a deadbolt.
So Zane, what do you recommend for like your side doors, your back door, like a sliding glass door?
Mm-hmm.
What do you recommend for that?
Wooden dowels, so they can't just slide them open, because they're going to be making lots of noise trying to break them. And everything's annealed glass, so they're going through a razor mouth trying to climb through your. Nobody wants to climb through annealed glass. It's literally razors. So they're gonna, if they do break the glass, they're gonna have to clean the glass out, or they're gonna get shredded. So, it makes a lot of noise. Which technically you can have time to defend yourself whichever way you feel fit. But windows, people can climb in 4 or 5 inch gap. Cut your dowels that are 4 inches, the same as the banister. So when they do open the window, it stops there, so you can at least have airflow, but you're not compromising security too much. But I think it's just an issue of when you go to bed at night, throw dowels in front of the door so they can't just be split open. But somehow they have to create noise to get in, which should arouse your suspicions, hopefully.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Great comments. Thank you very much for the call.
Thank you.
And excuse me. Yeah, I wanted to, of course, also get to sliding glass windows and exterior windows and so forth, and I guess a little bit more on the front door itself. Like he's saying, he's talking about outswinging doors. Yeah, most residential doors are going to swing in, and that's really for convenience.
You're adding the security door, which is an outswinging door,
like a
and it's
storm
got
door.
a steel frame, storm doors, or you can do the outswinging home, front door, which I saw a lot of that when I was in Florida. A lot of the doors were outswinging doors,
really?
Primarily because of the hurricanes, the number of hurricanes coming through.
They'll blow the doors in.
They'll blow the doors in, and then they'll throw the door through the house. Well, this way, it's not blowing the doors in or throwing the door through the house. They then open their windows and reinforce the windows with different types of plywood framing. But this is it caused less damage to the house this way, but it also gave the house greater strength. So I'm right there with you, Zane. I think that was a great idea. I'm glad you brought that up. I'd totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, any additional layer that you can add, whether it just be a simple screen door, call them a screen door, it's going to deter them. So, okay, if I'm going to kick this door, I have to hold this other door open, and I have to kick with my other foot. It's going to be obviously going to be more of a deterrent.
Well, even most screen doors have a little lock on them anyway, so you can lock the screen door. Now they got to make a lot of noise to open that screen door, rip out the screen, and then pull on the metal, and that's loud.
Yep, that's true. And that's really what we're trying to accomplish here, is that we're not trying to make it an impenetrable fortress, although that would be nice. But the statistics are that most burglaries, if someone can't get in, if a criminal can't get into your home within literally a few seconds, they're going to be discouraged, and they're going to leave. They're going to walk away. And that's what we're really trying to create there, like our caller said there, like with the glass door. You break a glass door, it's going to make a lot of noise. But if someone's casing your house, they're going to know whether you're home or not.
Yeah.
So it may or may not be a deterrent.
And they're going to be looking for these security devices that you may have, additional security, and they're looking for the path of least resistance.
Exactly.
We got another caller. Let's take this call. Hey, Doug, you're on the air with PrepperCon Radio.
Yeah, what I do is, and I hope there's no bad guys listening to this, because it'll tip them off.
Just don't tell them your address. We'll say Doug's your fake name.
I haven't got much to steal, but my wife gets mad at me too. But I'm ex-military, and I did some stuff in there that was security minded. But I'll turn the radio on so that it sounds like somebody's in here talking. Even when I used to do a lot of traveling in my motel rooms or something, I'd turn on the radio or the TV on, while I'm gone.
Smart. That's a really good deterrent, because they're listening for that.
No burglar's going to break in on a house that they think somebody's in there,
I have a question for you. Do you leave exterior lights on as well?
I leave a porch light on, and I leave a light on in the kitchen. And then, you can buy those automatic timers that turn on and off in the light or...
and there are other automatic timers you can use inside your home as well to make your other appliances turn off and on. And even the smart ones nowadays, you can program to do that.
Yep.
But you can use all these locks and everything. But if somebody knows that you're not there and they want to get in, they're going to get in no matter what.
Yeah. And it's obviously better when you're not there for someone to get in than when you're there. But if whatever you do, if it makes noise and it alerts you, wakes you up, hopefully you're not a terribly deep sleeper, that you can obviously have your firearm nearby and be prepared to defend your family.
Yeah, tell me what to do if you sleep with earplugs in your ears. That's what I have to do.
You're going to have to reinforce your bedroom door as well.
That's another thing. Make your room a safe room, and we can talk about that too.
Well, my wife thinks I'm paranoid. I put chairs up against the sliding door, and I put chairs against the door when I go home when I'm sleeping at night, just so that if somebody wants to come in, I'd know what was going on, like you said. But
I wouldn't call that paranoid. Tell your wife that we agree with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I actually, on my list here of things that we recommend is especially, let's just say, if your house is more vulnerable, add more obstacles.
More layers.
The more obstacles, more layers, the safer you're going to be. Because even if it's an obstacle they can't see, they come stumbling into your house. They think they're all, James Bond. I just broke in. I'm a cat burglar, whatever, and they're tripping over, cans or tripping over a laundry basket, a dog. Great deterrent.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that kind of stuff when we come back.
We'll be right back. Hey, thanks for calling in, Doug.
Appreciate it.
you bet.
You're listening to KTalk AM 630, brought to you by survival-medical.com. Get on there, get your first aid kit, all the gear you need. They've even got birthing buckets. Everything you need for a wilderness birth.
Pretty cool stuff.
Check them out. We'll be right back after this break. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the... No, I'm just kidding.
The new dance party, is that what you're talking about?
No, I was about to introduce a new fight club or something. I don't know. I just felt like doing an announcer voice. Cool. Well, let's get ready to rumble. You're listening to PrepperCon Radio on AM 630, KTalk. Two-way talk, voice of the Rockies, coolest radio station I've ever been involved in.
Yeah.
And I was actually listening yesterday all the way up in Idaho Falls to KTalk.
Very cool.
So we're not just a Utah station. I mean, we've got listeners all over the world that tune in on the app. You can download it from the App Store. Go to ktalk.com or k-talk.com. Download the app. Just get involved. Have some fun with us.
Spread the word.
Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. We're easy to find, and we are just always on.
Pretty easy to find, yeah.
So, hey, we're talking home security, home defense today. Things you can do to better protect your house, from things as simple as burglars to, let's just fast forward to a drastic event, and looters. Mm-hmm. How can you make people think less of your home? How can you make people think twice before they try to break into your home? And so those are the things we're talking about. We've talked about garages. We've talked about doors. We've talked about reinforcing your doors, locks, jams. Let's talk a little bit differently. Windows, we've talked about that. What are some things you can do to eliminate yourself as a target? A lot of the YouTube channels that I've watched on burglars and home invaders, they actually love people who have these family stickers on the back of the van. Mm-hmm. Because they know exactly how many people are in the house and what genders they are.
Right.
You've probably all seen them, the little stick figure families.
And if your stick figure families are actual rifles, so you've got mama rifle, papa rifle,
oh yeah,
all little baby rifles, they'll know you have guns in your home as well.
And so when they count how many rifles there are and everyone's gone, they know, okay, there's 6 rifles on the back of the van. All 6 people were in the van when the van drove off.
Yep.
Perfect. I'm going to go get those guns. I'm going to go get that ammo. I'm going to go get what they have in that house. So are you advertising on your car, in your front yard, on your house? Mm-hmm. Are you advertising somewhere what you have?
And when you buy, say, a big screen TV and you leave the package out front with your garbage for the,
yep.
then you're advertising, oh, hey, they just bought a 65-inch super expensive TV.
Yeah, break the box down, turn it inside out, roll it up, throw it in the garbage can.
Yep.
Make sure it's not visible what it is. Don't let people know what you're adding to your home. Mm-hmm. It's really easy nowadays. Burglars are so smart and they're technologically advanced. They can mimic their way into just about anything. So you want to make sure you're making their job harder.
And that's one of the reasons why I kind of like the low-tech solutions a little bit more. Obviously, I think it's good to have, if you can afford it, if you can have a security camera or two around your house, an actual security system, fantastic, great, go for it. I wouldn't rely on that as your. It's not going to keep a burglar out.
It won't keep you safe. It will only alert, the police. The police have anywhere from 3 to 15 minutes response time on those. The thing is you can even do fake security systems.
Yeah.
Make sure that the fake stickers are replaced with real stickers. You can get those on Amazon.com. You can get the real stickers, and now somebody doesn't know. Okay, was this real or is this fake?
Yeah, exactly.
Anything with cameras is a good deterrent.
Yeah,
even the fake ones.
And now they have the doorbells, which are also cameras. That are hooked to your smartphone. How cool is that?
Yep.
But one thing I was going to say, I prefer in actually hardening the home, making it, because obviously a security system is not going to keep a burglar out. They're still going to be able to kick in that front door if you haven't reinforced, if you haven't hardened it. But also same with the sliding glass window on the rear. And one thing we haven't mentioned is security films. You can have a company come out and put a film on your window that makes it extremely difficult to break, both inside and outside. So you say you take a bat to it, and you're swinging at this bat. Yeah, you're going to break the glass, but it's going to stay intact.
Yep.
And it's going to deter that criminal from continuing to try and break that window and get into your house. They may try and break it and take a few swings at it and say, I'm not getting through this, and turn around and run away because, like Scott was saying, is they're looking for the path of least resistance.
Absolutely. And the more challenges you give them, the more secure your home really gets. Security systems aren't really security systems. It doesn't offer you any new security or peace of mind. It's a response system. It's emergency response system. That's really what it is. So you want to make sure your home is as tightly buttoned up as possible. Dog doors.
Yep.
One of the biggest ways someone can get into your house
Easy
through a dog
way to
door.
get in the house, yeah.
Maybe you've got one of those little tiny dogs. Maybe you've got a tiny burglar. I don't know. But what I have seen a lot of as a realtor is a lot of the bigger dog doors.
Yeah, big dog doors.
I got to tell you, those are crazy good opportunities for burglars to get into your house. They don't care if you've got a big dog most of the time or not, because most of the dogs anymore are friendly. They're so engaged in the public that they're not security dogs.
And all they need to do is observe your house for a little while to see what kind of dogs you have and if they're friendly or not. And and there's definitely methods to
tranquilizer dart that
food
takes the dog right out. Yeah,
give my dog a nice piece of chicken.
Toss a little steak over the fence and you're good for a while. The thing you need to make sure you're doing is keeping your perimeter secure. One of the things I love are thorny bushes around the windows. Put those around the windows. Put them, roses. They look beautiful, but they're also fun for burglars to try to climb through because.
And that's another thing.
They can't.
Yeah. Another thing is if you have large bushes, they also make for a good place for someone to hide, a criminal to hide.
Yep.
So you need to be mindful of that as well. Hedges, fences that are out front where you can't see. If someone could be hiding there, especially if you're leaving your house or coming to your house when it's dark, and they could use that to ambush you to get into your house.
Another thing is your ladders. I see people with ladders lying on the side of their yard all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I'm so secure. My whole first level is locked up. My basement's locked up tight. We got the windows upstairs open just so we can get some breezes coming through. We're good." Lock up your ladders, guys. Make sure that your ladder is somewhere out of sight, first of all, and then chained up to something so it can't be moved, and that you have to use keys to get it off there. The better the chain, the bigger the better the chain. If you have those accessible for burglars, they're going to be like, oh, cool, an escalator right to the money. They climb right upstairs, walk right through the window. They're in your house, lickety-split.
Yeah, the last thing you want is someone in your house at night while you're there.
Same thing with big yard tools. Keep those implements out of the way, out of sight. Store them somewhere where you can't see them. Get a shed for the backyard. You can get a shed for $600. Boom, done.
I've even gone to the extent of eliminating any large rocks from my front yard that anybody could actually pick up and throw through the glass.
Through the window?
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, actually, also on the list.
Ask me what I've done to my basement windows, Scott.
Shane, what have you done to your basement windows?
Okay, for my basement windows, what I've done, I've got 4 daughters. And at one point, they were all in the basement, so I felt
for any burglars listening, they're not They're not cute at all.
And they're not cute at all, and they are very well trained in firearms.
There you go. Even better.
You can go to my Facebook page and see their recent
but then you'll see that we lied about the not cute part.
Hey, watch it. No, they're gorgeous. They're not cute. They're gorgeous. But they're very well trained.
They're deadly.
With firearms. But what I've done is I've made my basement, I like to call it a fortress. I've got window well covers on all of my exterior window wells, and they're locking window well covers. So they obviously can't be lifted off from the outside. There are cables to a quick release mechanism that can easily be operated by even my youngest kids. And we've practiced this. That anybody who's downstairs, my youngest kids don't stay downstairs. They're right upstairs with it next to us. And we practiced. And the hardest thing is actually opening the old aluminum windows. That's even harder than actually lifting this window well cover off.
Yep. We had those old aluminum ones growing up in our house. And those were a pain in the rear.
Yeah, they can.
We actually had the kick-out windows in the basement, the little short ones. Mm-hmm. But you had to be like 6.5 feet off the ground to kick them out. And I was like 4 feet tall. I'm like, how's this going to work?
Yeah.
So I used to actually practice. I'd move my dresser over, and I'd climb up on my dresser, and I'd pop the little hinge buttons, and I'd push on it until I could pop it out. And then I'd get in trouble later because my dad would
have to go back and
popped
reset
it out. But we used to try to sneak in and out of the house. My older sister taught me that. So Angie, if you're listening, you're busted. But yeah, create a barrier, and then also make sure it's safe for your kids to get out of the house.
Exactly. So essentially, our basement we've got a gauntlet. If you were to come down the stairs, you'd have to go through that gauntlet. So that's kind of our emergency plan, and that's another thing we could talk about is what's your plan if there's an emergency? If someone does break into your house, what's your plan? So our plan is essentially to retreat to the basement, and we can easily defend that gauntlet of the stairs very easily. So my next plan is to actually add a door to that basement entrance that's also similar to the front door, where it's not a vault door, but a nice steel or a solid wood
reinforced door. Yeah, that's a great idea, and that's actually one of the things they recommend if you ever want to have a rental is to put a reinforced door between, like a rental in your home, mother-in-law apartments, a nice reinforced door between that unit and your unit of living. The more barriers you can create, the better. And then I think also making sure, like Shane's done, he's made sure all of his kids are trained and they know what to do. Education is the most important thing in home security. Get everybody on the same page as to what's expected, how to do things. And things simple as this: keeping a pair of shoes by your bed at all times. Keeping the gun and the flashlight next to each other. So you get to the safe, grab the gun, the flashlight's right next to it or on it. Taking that extra step just to be extra prepared.
Or if you have a firearm that's specific, it stays in that particular place, you don't necessarily carry it, that it has a light attached to it.
Absolutely.
Or a laser or something that makes it easier in the dark to use that weapon.
Or if you want to go all out, get some night vision goggles.
Sure, absolutely.
You can be that cool guy.
That's on my list.
I'm all about what's affordable.
Yes.
And $1,500 goggles are not affordable for me right now. But they might be for you if you're listening and you think, hey, that's a good idea. Go for it. Get what you feel comfortable with.
Give us a call. We want to try them out.
Yes, we'd be happy to test them out with you.
Here's another idea that in part of your plan, if someone were to break into your house, first of all, hopefully they make more than enough noise and take way too long to try and get into your house that they just end up leaving, or you have the chance to, of course, call the police and say, someone's trying to break into my house right now. I have a gun, and I will defend myself. I will defend our family if they break in, but he's trying to break in right now. And hopefully it only gets to that point where they get discouraged and run away. But what is your plan after that if they do happen to get in? Are you going to retreat to a particular room? And so, safe rooms have kind of gotten pretty popular. I'm not honestly a big fan of a dedicated safe room. Now, if you got a big house and you have multiple ways of getting to that particular room instead of just one particular path, like in most houses, I have one staircase to the basement. I don't have multiple ways to getting to the basement. So you can make each room in your home somewhat of a safe room.
Okay.
In a particular aspect.
I like the idea. I love movie theater rooms. Right. Most of the newer homes, if they've got a big movie theater room, oftentimes it's in the basement, in the garage, under the garage.
No windows.
No windows. Throw a nice big door on there.
Yeah.
make a security room. The other problem about that, though, that kind of deters me from that is, okay, now I've got a can that my family's stuck in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So make sure you've got resources in there to outlast whatever. The most important thing is make sure your family is safe. Keep your family in a safe spot so that if something is happening, that they're okay. Make a lot of noise. Deter people. I've got a brother-in-law who's in the military, and his family knows if someone's in the house, the first thing he's going to do is grab his shotgun and shoot out a window. Mm-hmm. Now the entire neighborhood's on high alert. Someone's shooting, mm-hmm. and someone else is calling 911. And all the kids know if they hear the window shot out, where they're supposed to go, so that they're not in any line of fire ever.
Exactly. And that may not be the right plan for you, but it could be,
right.
Especially if you don't have neighbors next door and you're.
He's the only house within about 200 yards, mm-hmm. Or at least that's where it was at the time. So, but he knows what he's doing better than most.
Right.
Army Ranger, mm-hmm. Special Forces trained. I mean,
and there are plenty.
He's a tough guy. I'm not.
Yes, you are, Scott. What are you talking about?
Not compared to him, but his kids know. Here's the plan. If this happens, we do this. Mm-hmm. Shane's kids know. If this happens, we do this, and so he knows exactly how to maneuver through his whole home and make sure everybody's protected and make sure everything's taken care of. So make sure you can do those same things in the dark, but start now. Put your family plan together now, and start practicing it. Go through your house from the mindset of a burglar. How can I get in? Mm-hmm. And start reinforcing those first. Hey, you guys are listening to PrepperCon Radio. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for being part of the show. We love doing the show every week, and we love your involvement. We'll be back next week talking big survival stuff.
Man,
cool.
If you're like me,